This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Okay, so let's be real. We've all done this. You're venting about life, and instead of talking to an actual therapist, you're unloading on your barista or your hairdresser or your bartender. When I was a bartender, that happened to me all the time. People told me everything. And while those conversations can be fun, let's face it, not everyone is the one to give you advice about relationships, anxiety, or depression. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp has been helping people find their right match for over 10 years. And they've got a 4.9 rating across 1.7 million sessions. All their therapists are fully licensed in the US, and all the matchmaking is done for you through the app. But don't stress, if you're not vibing with the person, you can switch anytime. And it's all online. With over 30,000 therapists, more than 5 million people are served globally. It's the world's largest therapy platform. So find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1. Summer is officially over, and let's face it, life can be a lot. Kids are going back to school. You might be going back to school. This time of year, life just feels busy, and it's going to feel this way all the way through until New Year's. Around this time especially, sometimes you just want to chill, or sometimes you need to focus, and sometimes you might just want to feel good. And that's why we love Via. We've said it a million times. Via is the best. They have so many different products, so many different strengths, some with CBD and THC, and some just with CBD by themselves. They have sleep gummies, sex gummies. They have gummies for everything. Gummies to help you focus. And gummies just to make you laugh, because sometimes we just need to laugh and be goofy. The best part is Via legally ships across the U.S. Discreet, direct to your door, no medical card required, and it's backed by a worry-free guarantee. So if you're 21 and up, treat yourself to 15% off and get a free gift with your first order using our exclusive code, wifeofcrime1, at viahemp.com. You will also get free shipping on orders over $100. That's VIIAHEMP.com, promo code wifeofcrime1.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So, Russ, this is a big week in America. It's the start of our football season. So I wanted to tell you about a crime that shook the world of sports. A 25-year-old NFL linebacker looked like he had everything. Money, a new Bentley, a new house, a girlfriend, and a new baby. But nobody knew he was a ticking time bomb. This is the case of Jovan Belcher. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime, a true crime podcast where I tell my husband, Russ, true crime stories and he reacts to them.
What's up, folks? It's your boy Russ, a.k.a. Make-A-Wish. I'm here with Jess, a.k.a. Miss Tubi.
Make-A-Wish. God.
Yeah.
That's depressing.
Maybe, Make-A-Wish gotta hit me up.
Is Make-A-Wish Foundation only for kids?
I feel like Ray J, like, if I had one wish.
If they did hit you up, what would your wish be?
Oh, damn. Well, what is my options? Like,
I mean, I think like you can literally make a wish to do anything.
I'm going to wish for $1 billion.
Wow, I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah. I'd have to think about it.
And you said you're with Miss Tubi?
Yeah.
Are you Mr. Tubi?
No.
Why?
Because I feel that makes me the wife.
No, you're Mr. Tubi. You're like the first man, the first husband.
That makes me like the wife.
Yes, I was on Tubi. That's exciting. I was on a documentary. Well, it was my TikToks my TikToks were featured in a documentary on Tubi about Brian Koberger and the Idaho College murders. And it was produced by Law and Crime, which I really like Law and Crime. And it's called On Trial, the Idaho College Killer. So definitely go to Tubi, check it out. You'll see your girls' TikToks on there.
TikTok, you don't stop.
We shared footage of me watching it on Instagram and trying to keep Tyson quiet the entire time because he's a maniac.
So I have a question for you. So I'm curious if you think like what the charges should be.
Okay.
So there was two guys and doing the most guy shit ever. They had Kevlar helmets.
Okay.
And they each put one on and they shot each other in the head to see if it was actually bulletproof. Like it's bulletproof.
What? With real guns?
Yeah.
Not like a BB gun, like a real gun.
A real gun.
Shot each other in the head. That isn't just guy shit. That is idiotic.
Yeah, well, that's it. Guys do dumb shit. Like a guy like, all right, let's see if it really is bulletproof.
That is idiotic.
You ever watch Jackass?
Yeah, of course, but I don't know. That is really stupid. Did someone get hurt?
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say that. So
now you know how I feel.
Yeah, someone tell her shut up. I was trying to get through the last sentence of the story over here. So anyway, now one of them is charged with murder.
Oh.
So he's been booked and he's been charged with murder. So do you think that he should be charged with murder?
Is it for sure that they were both complicit, like they both agreed? Like is that just the narrative that he said, or I guess you don't know the answer to this question, but I'm curious if that's his story or if it was really the fact that they both consented to putting on these helmets and shooting each other in the head, and then one of them died.
Well, we're just going to go with those facts. We're going to pretend she just made up this whole other story, and I was trying to tell this story.
I think if they both consented to it, then I don't think he should be charged with murder. Because murder, like the definition of murder is the premeditated killing of someone. So I don't think he like intentionally did it to murder him. If that was the case, I mean, maybe he should get a manslaughter charge, I don't know. That's really tough. But if they both agreed to it, I don't know if he should get charged.
Yeah, that is a tough one. Technically, he did murder him.
He did murder him technically, but it could have gone the other way.
That's just a hard one to say.
It is hard.
I was just curious.
That one's really difficult, actually. But I am curious if that's his narrative.
Well, I got another one.
Okay.
There was this man in, I don't know, one of the states that start with an I. Let me see if I have it here.
Idaho,
Indiana.
Iowa, okay.
So the prisoner died and came back to life and argued his life sentence had ended.
Oh, my God.
So, listen, I understand where he has an argument because his life did end. So now
for what, 2 minutes?
I don't know. I'm not looking into that either. I just have the headline. But how do you feel about that?
No, that's bullshit. Like he coded. In the hospital we call it coding. That means your heart stops, but then we can get someone back during a code.
I think
you're not officially dead until a doctor says time of death is blah blah blah.
No, that's man-made. You're dead when you're dead.
No, because we can bring people back. So that's not true.
No, now, but if it happens outside and they didn't get to the hospital for 20 minutes, when did they die?
Dead. Yeah, but that's not the way science works now. Now we have enough science that death doesn't always mean death. Yeah, because sometimes you can die and get brought back.
Yeah, only after a very short time.
Yeah, after a very short time. So it must have been a really short time that he was quote unquote dead. That is really funny.
He woke up dead, literally.
He did.
Now there goes like a real literal, he woke up dead.
He woke up dead for real.
But you can't let him out if depending on the sentence. I think if it was like a little weed charge or something, I'd be like, let him go.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what he's charged with. If it's like murder or something really bad, then yeah, that's bullshit. But that is interesting. It's an interesting technicality that he's trying to pull.
Yeah, and then how are they going to entertain it? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. And you don't read articles, so I guess we'll never know.
I glanced at it, but I was like, there's no fun details in there. I was looking for fun.
You just like the headlines.
Exactly.
Well, this month on the Patreon, we watched and reviewed Chaos, the Manson Murders from Netflix. And I'm not going to spoil it here, but just know we made our opinions known pretty much right away.
Yeah, that documentary sucks.
Don't go watch the documentary. It'll be a waste of time. But definitely listen to our episode about it, because I actually do go into detail and explain the Manson case and its link to the CIA. So I pretty much just take over the episode and tell you all the information that the documentary was supposed to tell you about that. And this month, September, we've gotten 1 million requests, Russ, to watch this documentary that's going viral, Unknown Number High School Catfish. So we are going to be watching that for September. Everyone's telling us we have to do it. You have a lot of pressure this time because everyone keeps saying, I can't wait to hear what Russ has to say.
Well, it's on the record that I never feel bad for anyone that has gotten catfished. It's like natural selection. Like, you're making stupid choices.
But, Russ, you don't know this case, and I do, and I think this is going to be a little different for you. This isn't a classic catfish case. This is a different situation.
Well,
don't look anything up about it because it's all over online. I don't want it to spoil the twist. So don't look it up. But
that makes me want to look it up. You shouldn't have said that. You can't tell me what to do.
Don't look it up.
Someone hit me in my DMs. What happened there?
Don't spoil it for him. We're going to watch it this week. So if you're interested in hearing any of our True Crime and Chill episodes, head over to patreon.com/wifeofcrimepod and sign up at the $5 tier. And Russ has the patron shout outs.
All right, folks. So this week's joiners are Rebecca, Christina, Gabatron, Tammy Lee, Ashley, Heather, Michelle, Liz, Carrie Ann, Cheryl. Apparently, my name is Javi. That's funny.
Apparently.
Caitlin, Andrea, and Rosetta with the Hulk Hogan mustache.
Oh,
get that waxed, girl.
Leave Rosetta alone.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers. Rosetta's my best friend, and she signed up for the Patreon recently. She realized after all these years that she thought she was subscribed.
Oh.
But she wasn't.
She's probably like you and has 1 billion subscriptions she doesn't even know about.
Yeah, maybe. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers,
Thank
folks.
you so much for joining the Patreon. We love you.
All right. Also, I do review of the week, as you guys know. So I went digging in the crates. This one's from about a year back.
A year?
From
wow.
Jordan Chef. It says, "Shut up, Russ." 5 stars. Listened to one episode, thought Russ was obnoxious. Then Jess told him to shut up, and I was hooked. You guys are hilarious, and I thoroughly enjoy how Jess doesn't skip a beat and ignores Russ's tangents. It's how my husband and I are, and it's just refreshing to hear a podcast that isn't so robotic. Keep it up.
Oh, that's nice.
As I just read that, all robotic.
That's really good. That's a good one. Thank you for the review.
Yeah.
I definitely just keep it moving. Sometimes, so there's two things. Sometimes you say something really dumb and I'm like, I'm not even entertaining this, and I keep it moving. And then sometimes I'm so focused on what I'm talking about that you say dumb stuff or funny things that I completely miss. And then when I'm putting the episode together later, I hear it and I actually do laugh to myself. While I'm like putting the whole episode together, I start laughing because then I realize, oh my God, I totally missed that. Like last episode when you said the joke about the kid can't see himself in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
I totally didn't even hear you say it because I was just so focused on telling the story. And then when I was putting the episode together and I heard that comment, I really started laughing.
It's funny. Sometimes I do say stuff and I'm like, wow, no reaction. Like, that was kind of funny. Like, it cracked me up.
Sometimes I'm just wrapped up in my own head sometimes, you know? Okay.
You know what I always think of when I hear okay like that?
What?
The episode on South Park when Butters is singing, what in my butt? And he goes, want to put it in my butt? Okay.
God. Okay.
Oh, you did it.
So this week starts what in America, Russ? What is starting this week?
The fall?
No.
Football
season. You just did your fantasy draft last week.
Well, I am the champion of the fantasy draft.
You are.
I mean, the fantasy league. It was the first time I ever won, so it isn't like I'm bragging.
You have a belt.
I do.
A giant wrestling belt.
As the champ should.
Football fans are all over America gearing up for this season. Football is honestly about as American as it gets. It's big, it's loud, it's intense, and it's completely wrapped up in tradition. You've got Friday night lights in little towns where the whole community shows up, college rivalries that divide entire states, and then Sundays where everyone is glued to their TVs like it's a national holiday. It's this crazy mix of brute force and strategy. You've got guys smashing into each other full speed while coaches are on the sidelines playing basically a giant game of chess.
Yeah.
Outside the game itself, football is everywhere during our winter months. Thanksgiving games, Super Bowl parties, tailgating with burgers and beer. It's not just a sport. It's like a mirror of America. Gritty, over the top.
Gluttonous.
And impossible to ignore. It's utterly American.
Yeah.
But the thing about American football is it's not just a brutal sport. It's a collision course for the human brain. Every tackle, every hit, even the ones that don't leave a mark on the outside, shake this delicate organ inside our skulls because the brain is soft, it's squishy, and it's easily damaged. The human brain is honestly like the most fascinating and mysterious thing about us. Everyone knows, you know, I'm completely obsessed with the brain. I think it's the coolest thing in the entire world. It's this 3-pound organ, and it controls everything.
Even if you have a big head, it's 3 pounds?
Yeah, it's 3 pounds.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. So your head is like mad big. Your brain's still 3 pounds. So you must got a thick skull.
You got a cone head.
No, I don't. It controls everything. Things you don't even realize, like breathing and digesting, but also your thoughts, your personality, your emotions, every single decision you make, either conscious or unconscious. And when it gets injured, it doesn't heal like a broken arm or a sprained ankle. Sometimes those injuries can totally change people in ways that might be subtle at first. But over time, they completely reshape who a person is. When the brain starts to misfire, the results can be devastating. We're talking memory loss, depression, paranoia, sudden violent outbursts. And when you mix those invisible injuries with high-pressure lives, money, relationships, and guns, you sometimes end up with stories that don't just break our hearts, but they raise questions about free will, accountability, and the crimes themselves. So today, I'm going to tell you about a case that shook both the sports world and the true crime world. Because it's not just about one man's violent choices. It's about bigger questions of what football and other contact sports do to the brain, and how someone who seemed like he had it all could unravel so suddenly. Jovan Belcher was a football star who had everything. He had talent, money, a good family, a future, until the very organ that made him who he was turned against him. Are you ready?
Yes. Hike.
So you've had a brain injury.
Yeah.
And you've been concussed multiple times.
Yeah.
So I've been actually very excited to tell you this case because I'm going to nerd out later about, the brain. And I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about sports. I mean, because you're very athletic. You've played contact sports your entire life. You've gotten hit in the head multiple times. Half of your skull on the front is a metal plate from an accident.
Mm-hmm.
You've fallen a million times. Even with a helmet on, you've still fallen and hit your head.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about all of this. So Jovan Belcher was born in 1987 in West Babylon, New York, which is on Long Island, as we know. He wasn't a kid who had it easy. His parents split up when he was young, and he grew up in a household where football didn't just become a game, but a way forward, a way out, which I feel like is very typical for a lot of athletes, especially if they grew up poor. And I'm sure you've seen that in your neighborhood growing up. Like, kids use athletics to try to get out.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens all the time.
Or sometimes, like, in a lot of areas, there are people that are just as good as anyone in sports, but they may not go to school enough or, something like that. They just didn't have the opportunity.
Yeah.
They couldn't join the team because they had to figure out food.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Teachers and coaches all said Jovan was focused, disciplined, and honestly kind of shy. He wasn't the stereotypical loud football star type. What stood out about him in high school was his work ethic. He went to West Babylon High, where he didn't just play football. He was also a wrestler and ran track. He was one of those kids who put in the hard work. He wanted to be the best at whatever sport he was involved in. He won All-American honors 3 times as a wrestler and was team captain of his football team for 2 seasons. And those 2 seasons, he led the team to the championship and was named Newsday's Best Player of the Decade.
Wow.
In the 2000s. And by his senior year, he was seriously turning heads. He had this relentless, physical style of play. He wasn't the biggest guy on defense. He was 6'2", 228 pounds. I mean, that's high school, though. So
that's big for high school.
It's big for high school. But apparently he hit like a freight train. Colleges noticed, and eventually he landed at the University of Maine. So the University of Maine isn't exactly like Alabama or Ohio State. It's not a football powerhouse. It's a D2 school. But I think because of that, Jovan stood out big time. He was like a big fish in a small pond.
I mean, a lot of good players came from smaller schools. Even Jerry Rice, the best receiver of all time, did.
Yeah. And sometimes it really pays off to be the big fish in the small pond.
Because you may not get an opportunity at other schools because someone's already in that spot.
Yeah, exactly. He played defensive end and later linebacker. And he was one of those players that teammates described as always studying film, always working, completely obsessed. In his senior year, he was named first team All-American in the FCS. So the FCS, for people who don't know, is the level just below the biggest college programs. So the NCAA is the Division I college championship, and the FCS is for the D2 programs.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't really watch a lot of college sports.
Oh, okay. So I educated you on football. Look at that. While in college, he majored in child development, and he was part of a group called Male Athletes Against Violence. It's super ironic, however, because this is exactly the time that Jovan started showing a pattern of toxic and dysfunctional relationships with women. In February 2006, police responded to a domestic disturbance call from a concerned neighbor. When they showed up, there was no evidence of a physical altercation, just really loud fighting. Then in April 2006, police responded to another domestic disturbance call and found Jovan with multiple cuts to his hands and wrists because he punched through a glass window and his hand was like drenched with blood and it was dripping everywhere.
Sounds like he got a bit of a temper.
Yeah. And that's what this all kind of started in his senior year of college. Jovan Belcher was projected to be a 6th round pick during the 2009 NFL draft. But unfortunately, he would go undrafted. The Kansas City Chiefs picked him up in 2009 as an undrafted free agent. Now, if you know football, you know undrafted free agents are long shots.
Yeah.
Most don't even make the practice squad. But Jovan defied the odds. He earned a spot on the roster, and by 2010, he was starting games.
Nice.
He became known as a tough, reliable inside linebacker. Fans loved that he was like a grinder. He was like a blue-collar player. He was gritty.
Yeah.
Fans love that.
Yeah, especially in New York.
Oh, yeah.
You could just play really hard and lose and be like, oh no, but he's tough.
Yeah, exactly. I think across sports, well, especially like basketball and football at least, and hockey, I would say, fans love the gritty players the most because you just want to see their passion. Because I feel like in sports, we're more passionate about them than they are sometimes. And
Most of the time, like when they lose, like they don't care as much as us.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are going home to their mansions and their yachts and
exactly
their house full of models.
Exactly. So when you see a player who's gritty and cares and is like a rough player, it makes fans excited. And at this time, the Kansas City Chiefs, they sucked back then. You know, this wasn't the prime time. This is before homie came. What's his name?
Pat Mahomes?
Yeah.
I thought you were like using a play on words.
No, I forgot his name.
I thought you thought his name was Pat Mahomey.
No. It's before Pat Mahomes came and, you know, made the Chiefs what they are today. So seeing a player like that really excited everybody. By 2012, he had a multi-million-dollar contract and a long career ahead of him. From the outside, it looked like he had made it. This kid from Long Island, who wasn't supposed to go far, became an NFL star. In his second season with the Chiefs, the team would head to the postseason at 10-6. And during the Chiefs' wildcard game against the Baltimore Ravens, my team, Big Truss.
I don't know what Big Truss means.
Really?
No.
Big Truss?
No.
You got to look it up. Lamar Jackson, he like coined the name Big Truss.
Oh.
That's like a Baltimore staple here. Everyone goes, Big Truss.
Oh, I thought they were saying Big Russ. Like everyone's talking to me.
I bet you were. I bet you thought that. So they played the Baltimore Ravens. And this is one of Jovan Belcher's best games of his NFL career. He got 11 combined tackles and 1.5 sacks. However, the Ravens beat the Chiefs that game, of course.
Every true crime woman's like, we don't care.
I bet there's a lot of listeners like me who love true crime and love all kinds of weird shit and also love football.
They probably never tried to learn to play the spoons.
Probably not. I might be the only listener. I mean, the only person in our whole community that we've built that has been obsessed with learning how to play the spoons at one point.
You were obsessed for like a week or two.
No, it was like 2 months.
And anybody could just slap some spoons.
No, it's hard. It's really hard. So it seemed like this dude was on top of the world. But behind the scenes, things weren't so perfect. Jovan was in a long-term relationship with his girlfriend, Cassandra Perkins. The two had just had a baby daughter together. Friends later said that their relationship was rocky. They argued a lot. But nothing really seemed out of the ordinary for a young couple under stress with a new baby. Jovan's mother, Cheryl, moved in with the couple to help take care of the baby. What people didn't realize at the time, though, was that something much darker was brewing inside of Jovan. Jovan met Cassandra back in 2010. He was introduced to her through Chiefs running back Jamaal Charles.
He was a fantasy god for a while.
Yeah. Well, Cassandra was Charles's wife's first cousin. Okay. Jamaal Charles' wife, her first cousin, is Cassandra Perkins. So the two of them met, and the relationship started off really great. She moved to Kansas City to be with him, and he had just signed a $1.9 million contract.
She was like, jackpot.
Definitely. He bought a new home, and he got a Bentley. She moved in, and then quickly, Cassandra got pregnant.
Oh, she secured the bag.
Jovan was just 25 years old. Okay, imagine having all that at 25. Like these athletes, it's kind of nuts the amount of money they get at such a young age.
Yeah, lucky them.
Mm-hmm. He was in the NFL, loads of money, a baby on the way. Everything looked perfect. On December 1st, 2012, police were called by a concerned neighbor who saw a suspicious man sitting in a parked car outside of an apartment building for over an hour. When police showed up, they find Jovan Belcher asleep in the driver's seat with the car running. He had been drinking. Police asked him what he was doing there, and he said he came here to his girlfriend's apartment to see her, but he forgot the code to the building. So he got back in his car and he fell asleep.
Fair point.
Any normal person would have gotten a DUI because, fun fact, if you are asleep in your car with it running in the driver's seat and you're drunk, whether you're driving or not, you get a DUI.
Yeah, that's crazy because
we know someone that happened to.
I know someone that was at a bar. They didn't want to drive home, so they was like, I'll just sleep by the bar in my car. So they turned on the car to get some heat or whatever, and they went to sleep. And then they got a DUI, and they was actually trying to do the right thing.
I know. It's so crazy. As soon as I heard this, I thought of him. I was like, wow, that sucks, because any normal person, they would be stuck with a DUI.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe if you're in the back seat, you get away with it.
Yeah, if you're not in the driver's seat, you're good.
But I don't know if you could still have it running. So that's the thing. Like, I guess technically you just operated the vehicle by turning it on.
I guess, yeah. So any normal person would get a DUI, but this is a starting linebacker for the Chiefs. So I'm sure the cops were a little starstruck. He was clearly drunk, but the cops just said, hey, just go in the apartment, take a nap, like go to sleep for a little while, sleep this off before you go home.
And they didn't catch him driving.
No, he wasn't driving. He was just sitting in there sleeping.
I wonder if he was getting drunk in the car, like he had drinks with him.
No, he had come from a bar.
Oh, so he drove there drunk.
Yes.
Well, good thing no one got hurt.
So he heads into the building and the cops leave. He wasn't there to see his girlfriend / baby mama, Cassandra Perkins. He was there to see his other girlfriend, 25-year-old Brittany Glass.
See, everyone knows athletes got chicks on the side.
A lot of them do.
And a lot of their main women are okay with it because they're not going to be able to find someone that makes $20 million a year.
I know. So he started dating Brittany right after the birth of his daughter. And this created so much toxicity and tension in his relationship with Cassandra. She knew he was seeing Brittany. He also was drinking more and staying out later and later. So their relationship was completely falling apart.
She's about to get one of those $50,000 a month alimonies.
Yeah, well.
Those are crazy when I see those.
Yeah, they are crazy. The couple started seeing a counselor recently, and according to other Chiefs players and staff, they knew the relationship was toxic. Like everybody in his life knew that this relationship wasn't going well. And according to his mom, Cheryl, who lived with them, the couple fought all the time over money. She says that Cassandra had really bad spending habits.
I ain't saying she a gold digger.
On November 30th, Cassandra went out to a concert with some of her friends, and Jovan went out with his girlfriend, Brittany. Around 1 a.m., they get into a screaming match over the phone, and then Jovan drives Brittany home to her apartment. That's when he falls asleep in the car, and this is when the cops, get the call for the suspicious person. Jovan gets into the building, but his girlfriend Brittany was asleep, and she didn't answer the door or her phone. So her neighbors who knew Jovan heard him out in the hallway and invited him into their apartment. And they said that he could sleep on the couch and be there as long as he needed. According to the couple, they later told police that Jovan seemed like he was in a great mood. He was a little drunk, but he was cracking jokes and laughing, and he ended up sleeping there for a few hours. He got up around 6 a.m.
You're not regular if you could just go into a neighbor's house and fall asleep on their couch.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not regular at all. That's not something anyone could do. Maybe you could sit there, but you're not just going to jump on their couch and pass out.
Yeah, I mean, they knew him, I guess, from hanging out with Brittany, and
yeah, but
he's an NFL star.
Yeah,
so.
They probably like, oh man, we got the NFL guy in our house. They probably took a picture of him sleeping.
Probably, yeah. So he ended up sleeping there for a few hours. He got up around 6 a.m. and left to go home. He got home around 6:45, and Jovan and Cassandra immediately started arguing about both of them staying out late and partying. At 7:50, Cheryl, Jovan's mother, heard multiple gunshots in the house, and she ran to the couple's bedroom. She saw Jovan holding a gun and kneeling down next to Cassandra, who was laying in a pool of her own blood on the ground. He told Cassandra he was sorry and then kissed her. He then walked up to his mom and kissed her, and then went to his baby's room and kissed her, and then left the house with his gun in hand.
Holy moly.
His mother immediately made a frantic 911 call.
Are you with the patient now?
Oh, yes, the baby's crying.
Okay.
Please get an ambulance here.
Okay, we're on the way. We've been on the way the whole time. How old is the patient?
22.
A male or female?
Female.
And is he breathing?
He's still breathing, but barely. Please hurry. I don't know how many times he got her. They were arguing.
Okay, so she's been shot?
Yes.
Okay, right now is she awake?
No, yes, stay with me. The ambulance is on the way. You hear me? You hear me? Cassandra! Hey, stay with me.
Okay, listen, ma'am. Is she awake?
She's just barely.
Can you hear what you're saying?
Yes, she's moving when I talk to her.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Is she bleeding?
Yes, she is.
Where is she bleeding from?
I can't tell in the back and the front.
Okay, well, we don't want... Go ahead, Petey. Where is your son at?
Yeah.
Huh?
Look, please, just get the ambulance here, please.
We're on the way. Where's your son at?
Yeah.
He left?
Yes.
Okay. They were arguing and he shot her?
Yes, they was arguing.
Cassandra Perkins was shot 10 times, and she would die of her injuries moments after that call.
Sounds like a very emotional killing.
Yeah.
It isn't like a one-time mistake. To shoot someone 10 times is a lot.
10 times is a lot. I mean, you're like, that's a lot 10 times when you really think about it.
Yeah, like I just went to the gun range this past weekend, and I don't really shoot guns, and I was shooting like one clip, and I don't even think there was 10 bullets in there, but I was like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, that's wild. So Jovan drove to Arrowhead Stadium, where the Chiefs practice and play. He sat in his car, waiting. When the team's general manager, Scott Pioli, came out to talk to him, he gets out of the car with his gun in hand. He's shaky, he's anxious, he's sweating. And he tells Pioli, I did it. I killed her. You know, I was having problems at home. I needed help. I wasn't able to get any help. I appreciate everything you did for me, but it wasn't enough. I hurt my girl, and I can't go back now. He then asked him to call head coach Romeo Crennel and linebacker coach Gary Gibbs. He's breathing heavy. He's pacing back and forth, gun still in his hand, while he waits for the other men to come out to the parking lot. Scott Pioli tries to reason with him, like, put the gun down. It's okay. We can figure this out. We can help you. When the coaches arrived, Jovan put the gun to his temple. And Coach Crennel started desperately begging him not to do this. He said, you're taking the easy way out. All of the coaches standing there in front of him, begging him to stop. And he's like, guys, I have to do this. It's kind of a crazy scene if you think about it. Like, he's holding this gun to his temple and they're begging him not to do it. And he's like, I got to do this. I got to do this.
Yeah, like nobody expects that, these guys, when they went to work, that they're dealing with this ever.
It's insane.
Because normally if somebody's going to attempt suicide, I'm not like an expert, but it always seems like they're alone.
Yeah, a lot of times it's alone, 100%. He then thanked them He said, "Thank you for everything." And the sound of multiple police sirens started getting louder and louder as they approached the stadium. Then, right in front of his coaches, he pulled the trigger.
Whoa. I wasn't sure if this was going to happen. I didn't think it was.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I can't imagine how traumatizing that must have been for the men standing there.
So it was like the coach.
It was the general manager, Scott Pioli, Romeo Crennel, and Gary Gibbs.
Those three guys.
Yeah, his linebacker coach.
Wow.
The whole country was stunned. Teammates, fans, sports commentators, everyone asked the same question. How could this happen? It was all over the media. Just one day later, the team had a game against the Carolina Panthers, and they decided to play. It was a controversial decision. It was incredibly hard for his teammates, and especially for Coach Crennel. Okay.
It's crazy that he wanted an audience.
I know.
Why?
I know. Why, right?
But he's also in a crazy mindset, and
it's irrational.
Like, nobody could relate to that. Maybe there are people that probably could relate, but nobody could predict the next move.
Yeah. No, it's very irrational, very impulsive, and it is kind of nuts that he wanted all of them there. That is.
And why them?
He did thank them, so maybe he wanted to thank them for everything, but still, it's nuts. Sports commentator Jason Whitlock wrote in response, quote, "Football is our God, and it's even more evident today. There is just no way this game should be played," end quote. Before kickoff, the stadium had a moment of silence for victims of domestic violence and their families. There was no mention of Jovan Belcher. The Chiefs played hard that day, and they won that game. In the post-game press conference, it was all the media would talk about. Many questions about Jovan's mind state leading up to this. But no one knew how to answer these questions because everyone was in shock. They had no idea what caused Jovan to snap. On January 13th, 2013, the autopsy results came back and found that Belcher had a blood alcohol level of 0.18, more than 2 times the legal limit.
Average drinking. It ain't like he was bomb. I mean, he was drunk, but
yeah, he was drunk, but it wasn't like crazy. But he still had alcohol in his system. At that point. There was a funeral for both Jovan and Cassandra, and the world outside of the immediate families began to move on. But on December 14th, 2013, more than a year after the murder-suicide, Jovan's family decided to have his body exhumed and his brain tested for CTE.
I didn't think they could do that after you were, like, in the ground for a while. I thought, like, you shrivel up or something. That's wild.
And the results showed Belcher definitely had it.
CTE?
Yes.
I wonder if there are different levels of CTE.
I'm going to go really into it right now. If you live in America, even with no medical background, you've probably heard of CTE, or chronic traumatic encephalopathy, because of so many conversations about this with regards to contact sports. CTE is basically a brain disease caused by repeated, and that's the key, repeated blows to the head. Not just one bad concussion, but the everyday hits that football players, boxers, MMA fighters take thousands of times over their careers.
I've heard that it doesn't even have to be that big of a hit, that soccer players get it from head bumping the ball. I don't really know, soccer that well, what they call it, but...
Yep, you're absolutely right, yep. Unfortunately, it's not something that you can see on a scan when someone's alive. The only way to diagnose it is after death, by looking at brain tissue. CTE changes someone's personality. The primary side effects of CTE are depression, mood swings, memory loss.
I can't remember shit.
Paranoia, violent outbursts, impulse control issues, and eventually progressive dementia. So let's nerd out for a second and talk about CTE because this is a huge part of Jovan Belcher's case. The first time doctors really started to piece this together was back in the early 2000s. A neuropathologist named Dr. Bennett Amalu studied the brain of Mike Webster, aka Iron Mike, the legendary Steelers player who had gone totally downhill after football.
When you said Iron Mike, I thought you meant Mike Tyson.
No, they called Mike Webster Iron Mike.
There's only one Iron Mike.
All right, well, this guy was called Iron Mike, and he's in the Football Hall of Fame.
So I wonder if that...
Do you know who Mike Webster is? He's
No.
he's in the Football Hall of Fame. He's gigantic. Look him up.
All football players are gigantic.
I mean, he's a football star.
Well, I know Mike Tyson. Maybe Mike Tyson got his name from him.
Maybe.
This is spinal.
Mike was depressed, paranoid, and his life was unraveling. An article in The Atlantic about Mike Webster described his mind state right before his death. The article says, quote, "Plenty of guys had a hard time after retiring from football. You had to just adjust to a new identity, to a new schedule, like coming home from war. But Webster's reaction seemed extreme. He got lethargic. He forgot to eat. One day he peed in the oven, frightening his wife and kids. He slept under bridges, in the Amtrak station, and then in his truck.
Damn.
Somehow he got guns, and he would walk up to strangers on the street with a gun in hand and rant, 'Kill him! I'm gonna kill him!' His teeth started falling out, so he got super glue, and he tried to super glue his teeth back into his mouth. He wrapped his hands with duct tape because he had tremors, and he stuck a pen in the duct tape so he could write thousands of letters. He bought himself a taser and used it on his stomach and his thigh because he wanted to zap himself into unconsciousness just to get some sleep because he was having horrible insomnia.
Damn.
He sadly died at 50 years old from a heart attack. But before he died, he was obviously showing a lot of signs of CTE, but this is before CTE was discovered. So Dr. Bennett Amalu was assigned to do a routine autopsy of Mike Webster. He knew about all the bizarre behavior he was exhibiting before his death. So during the autopsy, Dr. Amalu pulled out Mike's brain, expecting to see signs of dementia pugilistica, aka punch-drunk syndrome. It's a common explanation for memory loss and dementia symptoms seen in boxers.
I would like to say that is the stupidest term I ever heard in my life. Why wouldn't they just say it normal?
What, dementia pugilistica?
Pugilistica.
Oh, because it's probably Latin. It's a medical term. Everything stems from Latin in medical terms. So punch-drunk syndrome is, in the 1920s, was what they started calling boxers who got early dementia or confused or memory loss after boxing for years. And Dr. Amalu kind of expected his brain to look like what a boxer's brain would look like.
Like Muhammad Ali. He got Parkinson's.
Yes, exactly. So Dr. Amalu has his brain in his hand and he's examining it. And he notices that the brain actually looks normal on the outside. It doesn't look like the brain of someone who's suffering from dementia. But he takes it over to his table and he began slicing it. And this is when he saw how abnormal the inside of Mike Webster's brain was. He put the samples onto slides and he began looking under a microscope. And this is when Dr. Amalu found this scary buildup of a protein called tau. So how it works is every hit, even the small ones, cause the neurons, which are the cells in your brain that send messages, it causes them to twist and stretch. And this triggers a buildup of the tau protein. Tau starts to clump together and it spreads through the brain, killing brain cells. And it disrupts the way that messages are sent through the neurons to other neurons. which means that different regions of the brain can't communicate with each other properly. So over time, this leads to shrinking of key areas like your frontal lobe or the amygdala. And those two areas are parts of the brain that control judgment, impulse control, and emotions. And that's why CTE shows up as mood swings, aggression, depression, memory loss, and violent behavior. And it literally changes a person from the inside out.
It's crazy that they can't check while you're alive. Like, hey, this is getting bad, or...
I know, because it's inside. It's not on the surface.
Can't, like, MRI see inside, though?
They can, but I guess they can't detect the tau protein.
Yeah, because they could do brain scans.
Yeah, I don't think they can detect the protein that's building up. I think you can only see it under a microscope.
I'm going to have my DNA shot people check that out.
Okay.
I'll have my people call their people.
Okay. So when Dr. Amalu saw this, he created the term chronic traumatic encephalopathy. He went on a crusade to tell everyone about it because Dr. Amalu is from Nigeria. He doesn't have a stake in the game when it comes to the NFL. He didn't care about American football. He is simply a doctor who discovered a problem caused by repeated blows to the head and wanted everyone to know about it. But at first, the NFL tried to deny it. Of course, no shocker there.
Amongst the billions or trillions of dollars that are made.
Exactly. They did everything they could to shut the conversation down. Dr. Amalu was ridiculed, called horrible names, racial slurs. He lost his job. But researchers at the Boston University and other places kept studying the brains of former players and found the same thing again and again. The majority of these guys had CTE. And when you looked at their lives, the symptoms matched. A couple years ago, the movie Concussion came out with Will Smith. Will Smith plays Dr. Bennett Amalu.
I would still like to say Will Smith can kiss my ass.
Yeah, I know. You hate
I hate Will Smith.
You hate Will Smith, but he plays Dr. Amalu in this movie. I haven't seen the movie Concussion, but it's just crazy to me that this doctor he's legitimately concerned. When you watch interviews with him, he just cared about people. He was like, these guys just don't know the risks and I want to make them aware of their risk. Like, that's all he was trying to do. And the NFL tried to destroy him. So sadly, we can't diagnose CTE in someone who's alive, like I said. The only way, for sure, is by looking at their brain after death. But scientists are trying to develop blood tests and scans that might help catch it earlier. The science just isn't there yet, unfortunately. And no helmet or rule change is going to prevent it because the damage comes from the repetitive hits and not the obvious concussions. So when the NFL puts out statements like our concussions dropped by 30% last year, it's really not making that big of a difference because it's not about losing consciousness. It's the result of your brain inside of your skull hitting off the skull. So even if you have a helmet on, your brain is still moving and hitting the inside of your skull.
Well, it'll hit less. Like it just won't do it as hard because there's cushion.
Yes, but it's still moving in there.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they have helmets to protect their skulls,
but
their brains aren't being protected.
There's some people now that wear like this air chamber on their helmet.
That's good. So basically, we know what it is. We know it's connected to football and other contact sports, but we don't have a way to stop it, which leaves us with a really dark question. How many current players, either at a Pop Warner level, all the way up to NFL, are walking around with brains that are already damaged, just waiting to show symptoms? When researchers studied Jovan's brain after his death, they found that he did have signs of CTE and significant damage, especially for someone who's only 25 years old. It's not like he's one of these guys who was in the NFL for years, but he had been playing football since he was a kid.
Everyone Well, 99% of the people playing football have been playing football since they were little kids, and they've been the best player and the strongest player, but they've rattled their brain.
He had the brain of a man who had been through decades of trauma. Scientists said his brain showed changes that could explain his sudden behavior shifts, like impulsivity, aggression, and depression. And I just want to make it very clear. I'm not saying that CTE excused what Jovan did.
Oh, no.
Cassandra Perkins lost her life that day, and their daughter lost both parents. But Jovan's case became part of a larger pattern. He was one of the many NFL players whose deaths, often violent, forced the league and the public to confront the brutal truth about football. Because after this case, we have big names like Junior Seau and Aaron Hernandez, who were also found to have severe CTE. Each case added to the growing pile of evidence that football doesn't just break bodies, it breaks brains. Jovan Belcher's story isn't one of a monster or a hero. It's the story of a man who started as a hardworking kid in Long Island, who climbed his way to the NFL against all odds, but who was living with invisible damage that eventually turned tragic. His case became a turning point in the national conversation about player safety, head injuries, and whether the game so many people love is literally killing some of the men who play it.
Definitely.
A lot of kids grow up using sports as a way to escape, whether it's a tough home life or poverty. Football, basketball, hockey, it doesn't matter the sport. They throw themselves into it because it gives them purpose, identity, and sometimes a sense of family that they don't have at home.
A sense of hope.
Exactly. And yeah, the risks are real. Concussions, long-term brain damage, and injuries that can linger for life. But for these kids, the payoff feels worth it. When you're young, you feel invincible. The chance to be seen, celebrated, make it big, it's a trade that they're willing to make, even if deep down they know the hits could cost more than they'll ever earn in trophies or money.
I would have did the same.
And I think a lot of people, now that we know the risks of football, there are still a lot of people who are like, I don't care. I'm willing to take the risk and go for it.
It seems that we don't care if something will affect us down the road, as long as it don't affect us immediately. Like, people smoke cigarettes because it doesn't kill you right away.
Yeah.
People drink alcohol. It's poison, but we'll drink it because it slowly kills you. It doesn't kill you right away.
Yeah, it's true.
So same thing with CTE. Like, hey, I'll take my chance at making these millions, and you know, I drink and I don't make millions.
True. Same.
Know? But if you'd like to help me make millions, just go to patreon.com/wifeofcrime. Maybe it can happen one day.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people choose knowing the risks, you know, knowing full well that they're risking their brains. I think that, you know, also when you're young, you feel invincible, and you're not necessarily like it couldn't happen to me, but you're kind of, people are instant gratification, like you said. Like, you're not thinking about the immediate effects. And if you were, when you were young, if you were in your teenage years and someone offered you a scholarship to college, and at that point, like when you were young, they didn't have this conversation. No one knew about all this. But if you knew all these guys that have had all these terrible problems after football, you would still do it.
Absolutely. I would still, you know what's funny? If I was like this information and I was starting over as 14 years old, going to high school, I'd still try out for the football team.
Yeah, you would. I know. And I think a lot of people would. But it's a real brutal, honest conversation that people have to have. You know, I love football just like everybody else. I come from a football town and a football family. And I grew up worshiping football, just like everybody in Baltimore. But we are watching them ram into each other, and they're all hurting themselves really bad. And a lot of them are going to have long-term effects from it. And it just is what it is. And it's just a brutal conversation that we have to have sometimes. Like,
I don't feel bad for the guys that make it to the NFL and, you know, they made it and they're making their money. I feel bad for the guys that tried all those years and they came so close and they didn't even get the financial benefits of risking their brain.
Yeah, that's
now
true.
They have all these brain injuries and they probably don't have the
make it.
resources to take care of themselves.
Yeah, that's tough.
But that could have been me or anyone else, or, you know, but I'm going to keep trying and I'm playing. There's guys that probably got it from just high school.
They've done studies. They've done studies on guys that only played high school football.
High school football is not a soft sport in all the places I've seen.
Yeah, no, they have guys that have played high school football and are having like memory loss issues, impulse control issues, and all the signs of CTE, and all they played was high school football.
Yeah, but I wonder, wait, you're saying while they were in high school
No, now they're older.
Now they're older, okay.
Yeah,
that makes
like they're
sense.
your age, but they played high school football and they're starting to show signs.
Or we could just be getting old and we're grumpy men.
No, this is beyond grumpy. Some of them like have dementia signs or paranoia, like real serious side effects. I mean, you have been concussed multiple times.
I got dizzy once and had to take a knee because I saw white lights, but that was only once.
Okay, but you didn't fully get knocked out.
No, I was very dizzy and saw white. And then for the rest of the night, I couldn't really see. Everything was kind of blurry, and eventually it fixed itself. And this was just like, you know, playing two-hand touch in a basketball court.
Wow.
Just me and Chicken Parm Lou was just, there was a ball in the air. We both running towards it, looking up, and we just crashed heads.
Wow. Well, based on your symptoms, that would be considered a severe concussion.
Well, that's, I think, the only time I ever got one.
Really? But you've gotten other concussions. They just weren't that severe.
I don't know. I've gotten head injuries, but I've never saw white lights before that. Only that time.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I think a lot of people still choose to play, and a lot of us fans still choose to watch, and we all know what's actually happening. To me, that's what makes this all so haunting. We are left with these questions. How much of Jovan's choices were him? And how much was the disease eating away at his brain? And how many more players are walking around right now with the same ticking time bomb inside of their skulls? I think that this whole story, when it's in the media and everyone that talks about it, everyone focuses on Jovan Belcher, but I want to make sure that we also focus really on Cassandra Perkins because she lost her life.
She was a victim of the CTE.
Yeah, she was a victim of.
But I'm not using that as an excuse for him either. He committed murder, and that was terrible.
Terrible. And her daughter has no mommy or daddy now, you know? So the whole thing is incredibly tragic. And, you know, I just feel so bad for everyone involved. But it just really makes us ask a lot of questions about football. When I was preparing for this, I watched a documentary about CTE. It was like on YouTube. It was like a YouTube documentary. It was like 15, 20 minutes long. And there were interviews with multiple former players who were describing symptoms. Some of them were more mild, like memory loss. Like a couple of the guys said, like, you know, I will call somebody and then immediately after I hang up, I forget who I just talked to. But it happens all the time, all day. It's like short-term memory loss like that, or insomnia issues where they cannot sleep, like they have to have meds to be able to sleep. Things that have been deemed to be cognitive issues from brain injuries. But, you know, and there were multiple interviews with different ones with symptoms that are really mild to symptoms that are way more severe.
Well, a lot of parents now won't let their children play football,
Yeah.
like the Pop Warner football.
I mean, it is a tough call. If you have a kid, knowing that this is the potential, would you let your kid play Pop Warner?
If they want to. I wouldn't.
Would you explain to them the risks to their brain?
But a little kid ain't going to care about that.
I know I don't know. Knowing what I know about trauma now, being a trauma nurse previously, and now someone who loves the brain and like really nerds out about it, I don't know if I'd want my kid to play football. I really don't. Like I would be really worried about like potential, and nothing against people who do let their kids play football. I just personally, I would have anxiety about it. I'd be really worried about my kid getting, a brain injury or something in the future.
I'd be like, you get
it'd
out.
be really hard for me. I mean, I might let them anyway, but it would be hard for me. I have to say.
I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Knowing the risks, no?
No, I'm Mr. It's not going to happen to me, even though it has happened to
You
me.
are. That's the thing. Like, you're not afraid of anything. You never think anything bad is going to happen to you.
Well, now I could still act that way because I don't have as much to lose anymore.
Oh, God.
I'm half the man I used to be.
Stop. Don't say that. No, you're not. But, I mean, your situation didn't show you that things can happen, like things can go wrong.
Yeah, but also living life scared, I just couldn't live that way. It wouldn't. You're just not experiencing life as I would want to experience it.
Yeah.
If you're just living in fear.
I'd be really interested to hear from you guys, our listeners. Like, what do you think about, especially if you are a football fan or you come from a football town or an environment that worships American football or any contact sport for that matter, even like hockey. I mean, hockey's a violent sport too.
All I know is about
soccer too.
From hitting the ball with their head. That's crazy.
There are guys who have CTE that are soccer players. So like, I don't know. I'm curious to hear what our listeners think. If you let your kids play football, if you understand the risks of it, if me explaining it all has made you think twice, like I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
How hard would it be if your child was good enough to make the team and he really wants to go and you're like, you can't because your head is going to get hurt?
I know. That's really tough.
Like,
I don't know if I could do it, but I would just be scared.
I feel like at Pop Warner level, they're probably not strong. Well, once they hit like the early teens, then they're strong enough. But in the younger levels, they're not really strong enough to cause damage.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if you hit your head hard on something, whether it's the ground or another helmet, I mean...
But the helmet's as big as their whole body.
It is. It's really cute to watch Pop Warner football when they're really little because the helmet is as big. The helmet and shoulder pads are as big as their whole body.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
They look like bobbleheads.
They do. They do look like bobbleheads. All right, everybody. Well, I wanted to make an announcement really quick before we end the show that we've decided that for spooky season, we're going to do a special episode where you send us your ghost stories, real ghost stories or real paranormal stories, and I'm going to read them to Russ and he's going to react. Now, I will tell you, don't send them if you're sensitive because he will flat out say you're lying.
You're all lying.
He will flat out say that didn't happen. I've had paranormal experiences that I tell him and he doesn't believe me. So if you're ready to hear Russ not believe your story, send it over. But if you're sensitive, don't even bother because he's going to figure out a way to rationalize whatever you send. I'm just warning you ahead of time.
And send it to wifeofcrimepod@gmail.com.
Yes, send it to wifeofcrimepod@gmail. And in the subject, write my ghost story so that I can see them all. We're going to compile a bunch of them and
I'm going to find out which one of you are schizophrenic.
and we're going to compile them and
which
I'm going to read them.
Which one of you have carbon monoxide poisoning in your house and we're going to see who's crazy.
So, I'm excited for this episode. It'll be a bonus episode either late September, early October. If we get a lot of them, maybe we'll do 2, but I'm curious to hear your paranormal stories. Every time Russ talks about ghosts and denies it, I get a slew of DMs of people and comments saying that they have ghost stories and that Russ is in denial. So definitely hit us up if you have a good ghost story and you're ready to be roasted for it.
But don't forget to take your meds too, people that write these stories, and you got to take your meds.
Yeah, okay. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week. Check us out on Instagram at Wife of Crime Pod and Facebook at Wife of Crime the Crime Family and Patreon at Wife of Crime Pod.
Yeah, and I'll see y'all next week. And if I had one wish...